It was the summer of 1994 when I enlisted in the Marine Corps under the Delayed Entry Program. After graduating from Mount Tabor High School in Salem, North Carolina, I eagerly awaited my journey into the military. A year later, in June 1995, I finally set foot in boot camp. I graduated on the 8th of September 1995, and my journey as a Marine officially began. My military occupational specialty, MOS, was 0311, which meant I was a grunt, and I underwent School of Infantry training at Camp Geiger in late September 1995. Unfortunately, my training was cut short due to an injury to my back, and I was sent to the medical bay on Camp Geiger, North Carolina. I spent a couple of months there recovering. In January 1996, I received new orders and was given a new MOS, 7042 Stinger Avenger gunner. After a brief 10-day leave, I was sent to Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas, for training as an air defense gunner on the FIM-92 Stinger missile and the Avenger weapon system. My training lasted from February to May 1996, after which I was assigned to my first duty station, the 2nd Marine Air Wing 28th Marine Air Control Group 2, Little Altitude Air Defense Battalion, Cherry Point, North Carolina. I was assigned to Battery B in June 1996 and went on several operations during my time there. In February 1997, I transferred to the Laser Strike section after attending Weapons Tactics Instructor School. Soon after, I was asked if I wanted to volunteer for a special mission. Intrigued and ready for an adventure, I eagerly agreed to join. In March 1997, my team was deployed to provide perimeter security for a radar installation in the dense jungle. The station was said to be tracking drug aircraft entering and exiting Peruvian and Bolivian airspace. Our mission was straightforward until one fateful night. It was a dark and stormy night when Sergeants Allen and Adkins approached us with grave news. An aircraft had crashed nearby, and they needed us to secure the crash site. Despite the eerie feeling, we set out on foot towards the ridge where the crash was rumored to have occurred. After a treacherous hike through the dense jungle, we finally arrived at the crash site at dawn. As I stood there in the jungle, my heart pounding in my chest, I couldn't believe what lay before my eyes. It was a sight straight out of a science fiction movie, and yet, it was real. A massive, sleek craft was partially buried in the side of the ridge, and it exuded an otherworldly presence. The metallic surface appeared organic, not reflecting any light, almost as if it were alive. The craft had a mesmerizing glow, fluctuating between shades of purplish green, as if it were infused with some kind of energy. I could hear a low, resonating hum emanating from it, like a bass note from a faraway amplifier. It was as if the craft were communicating with me, reaching into my mind, and somehow, I felt a strange sense of calm and assurance. The presence of beings inside the craft was undeniable. It was as though they were projecting their thoughts and intentions towards me. As I stood there, Sergeant Allen and Adkins were yelling at me to retreat, their fear evident in their voices. But I couldn't move. I was transfixed by this enigmatic vessel. My curiosity and intrigue overpowered my sense of danger. The back of the craft had large vents that seemed to serve a purpose, possibly related to propulsion, though I couldn't be certain. Approaching closer, I noticed strange purplish green liquid seeping from the craft, dripping onto the jungle floor like a surreal painting. It had a peculiar viscosity and seemed to corrode everything it touched. Unknowingly, I stepped into the liquid, and it began eating away at my camouflage uniform and even my skin, causing me to retreat in pain. Despite the corrosive nature of the liquid, I was compelled to investigate further. I saw 3 hatches or openings on the side of the craft. One of the hatches was slightly ajar, and I could sense a presence emanating from it, as if something or someone inside was trying to communicate with me. It was as though they were trying to convey that they meant no harm and that everything was going to be all right. The craft itself was massive. It had a combination of smooth surfaces and intricate details, giving it an organic and artistic appearance. It was like nothing I had ever seen, and it defied all conventional notions of human-made technology. As I stood there, trying to comprehend the enormity of what I was witnessing, time seemed to blur, and my sense of reality was thrown into disarray. The entire experience felt surreal, as though I had stepped into a different dimension or a dreamlike state. And then, just as suddenly as it began, the hum from the craft ceased, and all was silent. The purplish green liquid continued to drip, and the craft remained embedded in the ridge. I felt a strange mix of awe, fear, and wonder, unsure of what to do next. It was only when Sergeant Allen and Adkins rushed in and pulled me away that I snapped out of my trance. They were angry and concerned for my safety, but I couldn't shake off the feeling of having been touched by something otherworldly. As we made our way back through the jungle, my mind raced with questions and emotions. I knew that what I had experienced was beyond the realm of ordinary comprehension, and I struggled to process the enormity of the encounter. As we returned back to the base, I was forcefully taken into custody by enigmatic figures in black. They confiscated all my gear and placed me on a helicopter bound for an undisclosed location. The men in black, unyielding and cold, interrogated me for hours, threatening me with dire consequences if I spoke of the incident. After days of confinement and interrogation, I was returned to my duty station but segregated with Air Force personnel. The fear of repercussions and the disbelief of others prevented me from sharing my encounter with most of my fellow Marines. Only my immediate superior, Sergeant Allen, refused to discuss the incident, which left me feeling isolated and confused. Over time, the memories of the encounter with the craft and its mysterious occupants haunted me. My perceptions of reality had been shattered, and I struggled to reconcile my newfound knowledge with my deeply rooted beliefs. The encounter forced me to question my faith and the very nature of existence. As I returned to regular duties, my thoughts were preoccupied with the alien beings. Their presence in my mind was an unyielding reminder of an experience I could never fully comprehend. At times, I wondered if I had lost my mind, but deep inside, I knew that what I had seen was real, no matter how surreal it seemed. The encounter also exposed the shadowy underbelly of covert government operations. The secrecy and ruthlessness of those who sought to keep the truth hidden troubled me deeply. My once unwavering faith in the government and its institutions wavered as I discovered the extent to which some factions operated independently. Months passed, and the weight of my experience continued to burden me. I couldn't escape the feeling that the encounter had changed the course of my life irreversibly. My desire to share the truth with others battled against the fear of retaliation and disbelief. While the military sought to suppress the truth, I couldn't help but wonder how many others had experienced similar encounters. Were there more incidents like mine hidden away in the shadows of secrecy? Were these beings visiting our world, and what was their purpose? To this day, the encounter remains etched in my memory, a reminder of the mysteries that lie beyond our understanding. My life after the incident took a different path, forever shaped by the encounter with the unknown. Though I continue to struggle with the truth, I am determined to share my story, hoping that one day, the world may know the reality that lies beyond the veil of secrecy.